Hi. After some technical difficulties, we're finally going to get started. We'll start off laying on our backs. And taking a moment to just check in with ourselves before we really get moving. Bring the awareness to your breath. And notice the quality of your breath today. Without trying to change anything about it, just observe if the chest feels tight or open, if the breath is short or long, if the inhale or the exhale bears more weight. And then if it's comfortable for you to extend the heels away from the crown of the head, you can do that. We're going to do a quick scan through the physical body. If that causes any discomfort in the lower back, just keep the knees bent with the feet a little bit wide and let the knees fall in towards each other. Bringing the awareness to the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. As you inhale, draw the awareness up through the legs, into the pelvis, the hips, the low back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort. And as you inhale deeply, breathe into those areas. Gently open and expand them with the in-breath. And as you exhale completely, soften. Allow the tension to leave the body with the breath. The next inhale draws the awareness up through the torso, into the shoulders, the neck, the face. Again, just noticing where in the body, the upper body, you're holding tension today. And as you inhale, breathe into those places, bringing your awareness, fresh blood flow and oxygen. And as you exhale completely, initiate this conversation of consciously asking the body to soften, release, and let go. But take a moment to notice if one foot turns out more than the other. And this is going to give you some information about what's going on in your hips, which is the area of the body that we're working with today. So if one foot rests on the outside of the heel or the outer leg more, that's letting you know that that hip is a little bit more open in outer rotation. And then lastly, bring your awareness into your mind. And notice where your thoughts are at. Notice the speed at which they're moving through you. Allow yourself to step back from identifying as your thoughts and begin to witness their passing without getting attached or carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but just beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way your mind turns. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on your breath. With an inhale, we're going to draw the right knee into the chest. Pulling that knee in tight as close as you can towards the chest as you press out through the left heel and root the left thigh bone down towards the floor. Have a few deep, long breaths here. Breathing into the front of that right hip, into the hip flexor. And as you exhale, allowing the compression to soften those muscles in the front of the hip a little bit. If you want to deepen the stretch and it's accessible to you, you can take that foot and stack it above the knee, grabbing the outside edge of the foot and drawing that knee down in towards the armpits. Continuing to press out through the left heel and root the left thigh bone down. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Allowing the inhales to expand the areas that are tight, and the exhales to let go and release some of that tension. And then we're gonna let that right knee go wide and draw the left foot in towards the chest. The shin comes parallel to the earth. Reaching under the right calf with the right hand. Keep that left foot flexed and active to keep the ankle in line with the knee joint. Keep pressing out through the left heel and the ball of the left foot as you root the left thigh bone down. And take that outer right hip down towards the left heel. So you're creating a balance and evenness in the grounding of the sacrum along the back body plane. You can feel free to sway the hips or rock from side to side. Move in any way that feels good to you for 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with your next exhale, extend the left foot out to the left side. Keep pressing through both heels and the balls of both feet. Keep rooting the left thigh bone down and pressing the right thigh bone away from the crown of the head. You can use your hand to support your leg here. Again, looking for that balance and evenness in the grounding of the sacrum, grounding through the back body plane. And as you exhale, soften the abdomen back, turning it to the left. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Good, and then with an inhale, lifting that leg back up to center. And exhale, taking it gently across to the left side body. Continuing to keep the left toes flexed and active, pointing straight up. Right inner thigh, left inner thigh grounding down. And outer right hip rooting down. So we're still creating a relative balance and evenness in the grounding through the back body plane. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Lifting that right heel high to the height of the hip. And as you exhale, softening through the outer right hip and the IT band of the right leg. Good, and then with an exhale, bend the knee and let the left foot turn as you drop that right knee all the way down to the left side for a twist. Turning the abdomen back towards the right to ground the right shoulder. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale back to center. Extend the right leg out along the mat. Gently sway the hips from side to side. And take a moment to breathe and observe the different sensations and the different sides of your body. And I'm just realizing that you can't really see me, so I'm switching it up. And then with an inhale, you can draw the left knee into the chest, pressing out firmly through the right heel and then the ball of the right foot, pressing the whole midline of the right leg firmly down into the floor as you draw that left thigh towards your abdomen more. And inhale deeply, breathing into the front of the left hip, into the hip flexors. And exhale completely, allowing that compression at the hip crease to soften those muscles. And if you did so on the other side, lift the foot and stack the ankle over the knee. Grab onto each side of the foot and pull the knee down in towards the armpit as you continue to press out through the right heel and the right thigh bone down. Rooting that outer left hip down towards the right heel. Looking for balance and evenness in the grounding of the sacrum. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, expanding the places that feel crunched. And exhale, seeing what you can let go of and release to make more space. Good, and then we'll take that left knee down and wide as we draw the right foot towards the chest. So the shin comes parallel to the earth across the body in a supine pigeon pose. And you're reaching that left arm under the calf as you hold onto the left foot with the right hand. Keep pressing through the right heel, the midline of the right leg, and rooting that outer left hip down. So we're always looking for a balance and evenness in the grounding of the hips. The hips are the site of the second chakra, the pelvis, where we hold our traumas and dramas. The second chakra governs our emotions, our sexuality, and our subconscious creativity. Have 1 more big breath here. And then with an exhale, take that left leg wide out to the left side. Press firmly through both heels and root both thigh bones down in their respective directions. Looking for that balance and evenness in both side bodies and sides of the lower back. Using the left hand to support the left leg. As you exhale, soften the abdomen back and turn it back to the right. And have 3 more deep, long breaths here. As you inhale, breathing space. And as you exhale, finding deeper release. So the health of the whole body, but specifically the pelvis, is very much related to our capacity to let go, to allow things to pass and move through us, right? With an inhale, you can bring that leg back to center, and then exhale, take it across the body to the right side. Keep your bottom toes flexed and active, pointing up. Keep that inner right thigh grounding down. Keep lifting the left heel towards the height of the hip as you're rooting the hip down towards the right heel. So even as the shapes are asymmetrical, we're looking for that balance and evenness in the grounding through the back body plane. Have 1 more big breath, and then exhale, bend the knee. Allow that left knee to drop towards the right side body. You can let the right toes turn out. Let the body twist more deeply. Rooting that outer left hip down, and exhale, softening the left shoulder towards the floor. Have 3 more deep, long breaths here. Inhale, breathing length and space into the whole spine. And exhale. Softening into this process of wringing out, which literally detoxes the organs and helps to clear habits and patterns that aren't serving you on all layers and levels. So that as you inhale and unwind, coming back to center, extend the leg out along the mat. There's room for fresh blood and energy to pump through the body. With your next inhale, you can draw your knees into the chest and gently rock from side to side to massage the low back. And then with an exhale, roll onto the right side. Press down with the palms to lift up and come to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes for just another moment, bringing your awareness back to the pelvis, looking for that same balance and evenness, grounding through both side bodies. Begin to notice your tendencies. If the pelvis tends to tilt back, maybe you want to sit up on a blanket or a block. If the abdomen tends to slouch forward, you want to lift the frontal hip bones up. So we want to find neutrality in the pelvis, where we're pressing through both sits bones and we're able to inhale and lift through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. As you exhale, soften the shoulders together and down the back. Lean gently into the back body to stack the vertebrae, to align this internal antenna within us that connects us to all things. And I don't know if y'all have been feeling the energy of the moon today, but I definitely have. Things have been a little bit intense and hectic. And we're having this big, what is it, blood moon, wolf moon, lunar eclipse thing. And eclipses are always about revealing what has been concealed. And it's similar with working with opening the hips. So I always associate the hips with the moon, which is associated with darkness, with intuition, creativity, shadow work, facing and fighting our demons. So the energy of the day is that some things are going to be coming to light, and you are encouraged to use the energy of the moon to let them go. So as the moon wanes, we're able to release things that are no longer serving us. So that's what we're gonna think about while we get into the opening and the grounding of the hips. We're gonna do a pranayama to really get started. So we'll do alternate nostril breathing, bringing balance to the sides of the body, the hemispheres of the brain, the darkness and the light, the seemingly opposing forces within and around us that actually work to create stability through balance. So first, just inhale and lift the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Exhale. Focus the gaze on the third eye center. You're going to lift your right hand up by your face, and you're going to be folding the middle finger and the index finger down. We'll be using the thumb to block the right nostril, the ring and the pinky finger to block the left nostril alternately. First, just inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Block the right nostril with the thumb and inhale left. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale left. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale left. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale right. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale right. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. Inhale right. Switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Switch and exhale left. 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 In One more round on your own, noticing if one side is more clogged or more open than the other. Remembering that the left side is the moon side, feminine, creative, intuitive, dark side, and the right side is the sun side, masculine, analytical, logical, reasoning, light side. The next time you exhale left, releasing the hands down, you can return to the normal breath. But again, just observing, seeing if you can notice the effects of that pranayama on the energy in the body. It's definitely helping me calm down and relax, since the video wouldn't work at first and I got a little bit like worked up because I was running late. I'm glad to feel like I'm coming back to center and coming back on track. With an inhale, you can gently open your eyes and come onto your hands and knees. Good, so we're gonna ground the knees right under the hips and spread the fingers wide. And as you inhale, you're lifting your tailbone and lifting your gaze. And as you exhale, you're pressing down to curl the back of the heart to the ceiling. Cat-cow, continue at your own pace. Syncing the motions of the body with the breath and using the breath to deepen the motions of the body. Allow yourself to move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shapes. So allowing the mind and the body to connect and allowing the mind to take a back seat and receive the wisdom of the body today as you practice. Good. With your next exhale, you can tuck your toes and lift your hips high to come into downward facing dog. And we just want to make sure that we have the hands and feet both grounded evenly. We don't want one foot in front of the other or one hand turned out more than the other, right? As you inhale, you can float forward into a plank pose to check in with the length of your down dog. You shouldn't have to move the hands or feet to float between plank. Inhale, lift the hips, press back, downward facing dog. And it's okay if it feels like a long stance because we're using the arms and legs to stretch the spine. As you inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes, stretch them out and ground them down. And then with your next inhale, from that grounding, press down to inhale, lift the hips high. And then exhale, press the thigh bones back. Feel what that does to the lower spine. Let the head hang heavy and have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale, float forward into plank pose once again to hold for a minute. So you can always lower your knees down here. You can lower them behind the hips to still work the alignment of plank. From the tailbone, we root down towards the heels. And then inhale and breathe, lengthen space into the spine. Lift the abdomen and lift the back of the heart to meet the shoulder blades. With your next exhale, lower the knees, the chest, and the chin. Press the tops of the feet down and inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Low cobra. Have a breath here. Everything on the ground, pressing firmly down into the ground to inhale and lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. As you exhale, seat to heels, come back into child's pose. Allow the weight of the hips to settle fully towards the heels. So they don't have to touch down, but energetically it's that grounding once again. And from that grounding, inhale and walk the fingertips forward. Breathe, lengthen space into the spine. And exhale. Soften more deeply into the stretch. With your next exhale, allow the hips to sink to the left heel. And then inhale and walk the fingertips over to the right. Keeping both side bodies and sides of the neck evenly long as you inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Inhale it back to center. Exhale, shift the hips over towards the right heel. And then inhale and walk the fingertips over to the left side. Lifting the abdomen up onto the left thigh. And as you exhale, softening more deeply into that stretch. Maybe you feel it in that outer right hip. Have one more big breath. And then inhale back to center and exhale. With your next inhale, rise, hands and knees, and exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Turning the feet so they're parallel with the outer edge of the mat, and just feeling how that feels in the lower back. You can even take them wider than the hips and play with that. Inhale, lift and spread the toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Exhale here, and from that grounding, inhale and lift the hips high. If your hips are super tight and you're feeling like you're rounded in the lower back, bend your knees a little bit, bend them right over the ankles, and then lift the hips up. Exhale the thigh bones back. Let the head hang heavy for 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with an inhale, walk the feet forward to meet the hands. And exhale here. Inhale, shake the head yes and no. Feeling free to bend the knees so that the spine can lengthen. You can grab opposite elbows and sway if that feels good to you. Releasing all the tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. Letting it go through the crown of the head. With an inhale, return to center, and exhale, release. With your next inhale, reach the arms up and overhead to come to stand. And exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Good. I'm realizing that it's like super dark on the screen as well, so I'm still working on getting this all straightened out. But now we're going to do the moon salutations. And socks are not ideal for yoga, but sometimes for cold. So at the top of your mat, if you have blocks or something that you can use to support yourself in case you need it, feel free to grab them. With the feet as wide as the hips, lift and spread your toes. Stick your booty out behind you. Take the center of the hips over the knees and ankles and then ground down. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and exhale it over to the right side. Continuing to press from the pelvis through the 4 corners of the feet. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Good. Inhale it back to center. Feel and find the center. Reach straight up. Then grab the right wrist with the left hand and exhale it over to the left side. Noticing how that whole right side body wants to come with you, and instead pressing from the pelvis through the 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, lift the abdomen and lengthen the side bodies. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Good. Inhale it back to center. And exhale, step the right leg back. Take the feet wide. And we're going to take a deep bend in the knees right over the ankles for goddess pose. And so we want to make sure that the knees are in line with the feet, that we're not letting the feet go out and the knees go in, because that's going to strain your inner knees. So taking the legs wide, knees in line with the ankles, the tailbone roots down, right between the sits bones. And from that grounding of the legs, we lift the torso. Arms are wide like goalposts. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with an inhale, straighten both legs and straighten both arms. We're turning the right foot in slightly and the left foot out all the way, widening the inner thigh back as we stretch the fingertips forward to come down into triangle. Everything stacking in the side body plane. Always an option to use the block to support yourself or to bring your hand onto the shin. As you inhale, pressing the back thigh bone back and lifting from the inner thigh up. As you exhale, rooting the front thigh bone towards the back thigh bone and hugging that front butt cheek into the midline of the body. So everything is stacked fully in the side body plane. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with your next exhale, release that right arm down. You're going to take both hands to the outside of the left leg. Always an option to use your tin cans or your blocks to support you. The back foot's going to hop in and turn a little bit. As you inhale, lift and spread the toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Press the thigh bones, both thigh bones back, so you're like sticking your butt out behind you. And inner rotate the back thigh to bring the right hip in line with the left. As you inhale, lift the abdomen, gaze forward. And as you exhale, fold more deeply into the legs. We're gonna have 3 more deep, long breaths here. Looking for that balance and evenness in the grounding of the pelvis. You can literally see what your hips are doing here. So look back and make some adjustments. And then with an inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, lower the back knee down. Keeping the front knee stacked over the front ankle. As you inhale, you're hugging your legs together energetically, lifting the abdomen, lifting the fingertips and the crown of the head. As you exhale, sinking more deeply into the stretch, taking the whole center of the buttocks forward to open up through that back hip flexor. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with your next exhale, release the hands down. We're gonna ground, tuck the back toes under, straighten the legs, and then walk the hands to the right, coming into a wide-legged, standing forward fold. As you inhale, press the thigh bones back, stack the hips over the knees and ankles, lift and spread the toes. As you exhale, fold forward over the legs. You can bring your hands onto your blocks, the floor, or you could bring your head onto the blocks or the floor. Wherever you find yourself, have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with an inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. And begin to walk the hands over to the right foot this time. Turning both feet to face forward, which is now the back of your mat. Lower that left knee down. As you inhale, lift the arms up. You want to make sure that the front knee stacks over the ankle. We don't want it to go past the ankle because that strains the knee. And as you inhale again, pulling the legs energetically towards each other, lifting the abdomen, lifting the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. As you exhale, taking the whole center of the buttocks forward to open up through that back hip flexor. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, release the hands down. Tuck the back toes and straighten both legs. You might want to hop the back foot in a little bit, because again, we're looking for that balance and evenness in the hips. Pulling from the front heel back into the hip socket to draw that front hip back. As you inner rotate the back thigh and it turns and draws the back hip forward. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Taking a moment to be with the breath. Feel what's going on in the hips from the inside out. And make any other adjustments that you need to make to bring more balance and evenness in the grounding, to create more space in the spine. And then with your next inhale, you're gonna lift that left arm up, turn the hips open. So you're in triangle pose on the right side. The back foot is gonna turn out slightly. Inhale, lift and spread the toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Exhale here. The back thigh bone is pressing back and lifting up from the inside as the front thigh bone presses back and the butt cheek hugs into the midline of the body. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Trying to stack the hips and shoulders in the side body plane. Good. And then with an inhale, rise. Turn the feet, the heels in a little bit, the feet out. And exhale again into that goddess pose. So bending the knees in line with the ankles, looking to bring the thighs parallel to the earth. The sits bones ground down. And from that grounding, we're lifting the abdomen, the crown, the tips of the ears. As you exhale, take the arms wide like goalposts or cactuses. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale, rise. Step forward. Reach the arms up and overhead. Grab the left wrist with the right hand. Press down from the hips through the feet as you lean to the right side. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale back to center. Grab the right wrist with the left hand. Exhale, lean it over to the left side. Notice the weight at the foundation. Press into the 4 corners of both feet evenly. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And inhale to center. Exhale, release the hands down. Good, Cthulhu. What are you doing? Just one of those days. Sorry. Okay, so there's just one or two more poses maybe we'll play with because they're moon poses. I hope those moon salutations got you warmed up. We're gonna take the feet wide again. And if you have a block, you might want to get it handy outside your left foot. With the arms out to the sides, the left foot's facing forward, the right foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. We're gonna inhale here. Exhale, take a deep bend in the front knee, passing through warrior two. Inhale for 3 breaths, pulling from the floor to the core, and exhale, shining out. Feeling and finding that pulsation of giving and receiving, right? And then we're gonna reach that left hand forward and bring it, you can bring the elbow to the knee, or you can bring the hands to the floor or the block behind your legs. The right arm reaches over the ear towards the front of the room. You're creating one line of energy through your whole body for 3 breaths. As you inhale, hugging into the midline, and as you exhale, extending out. Continuing to press the back thigh bone back and hug the front buttock into the midline of the body. Good, we're gonna take the right hand to the right hip, hop the back foot in slightly, scoot the blocks or the fingertip out in front of you so the side bodies are long and the wrist is grounded under the shoulder. Pressing into the left big toe mound, lift the right leg. Stack the hips and shoulders for half moon pose. So there's a tendency to let the foot drift away behind you, and that makes it hard to balance. Draw the foot into the front body plane. Press out through both heels. Root that left thigh bone back, and maybe you want to lift the top arm up. 3 more deep, long breaths. Good, with your next exhale, a deep bend in the front knee coming through that Parsvottanasana. Back up to warrior two, straighten both legs and turn the feet to face forward. Preparing for this pose on the other side. So if you have a block or your tin can or anything that you can use to support yourself a little bit, especially if you're just beginning this practice, it's great because it creates more space in the body as we work, right? Arms out to the side, turn the left foot in slightly and the right foot out all the way. Pressing down into the heel to engage the muscles on the top of the thigh to turn the thigh bone out, right? Exhale, deep bend in the front knee. Warrior two. The front knee draws back as the back hip draws back, opening fully in the side body plane. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Good, once more. And then reaching forward, side body is long. As you come down, you can bring the elbow to the knee. You can bring the hand to the floor on the block, behind the foot, or all the way down to the floor. With the thigh bone back, press out through the back edge of the back foot and reach the fingertips over the ear. Feel that you're making one line of energy through your whole body and have 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, drawing the energy in from the floor to the core, and exhale, extending out. Good, with your next exhale, the left hand comes to the left hip. We're hopping the back foot in slightly, scooting the block or the fingertips out in front of us. We want the wrists under the shoulders as we rise, pressing through the right big toe mound, pressing out through the back heel. Good, keep pressing that standing leg thigh bone back. So you're making that balance and evenness in the space in the lower back. And then maybe you want to lift the top arm up. As you inhale, You're hugging everything into the midline of the body. And as you exhale, you're extending out in all directions. 3 breaths. Good. And with an exhale, release. Step back, warrior 2. Turn the feet. Step or jump the feet together. Good work. Coming back to the top of your mat. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. And with an exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground the palms and step back to downward facing dog or come into child's pose for a few breaths. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to your breath, noticing the quality of your breath now, noticing where in the body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment. And then with an inhale, we're gonna rise onto hands and knees and come to stand all the way up on the knees. You might want to put a blanket under your knees. You might want to put a block between your thighs if you have it. Interlacing the hands behind your back. Root the tailbone down. Open the frontal hip flexors. Inhale, lift the abdomen towards the spine and lift the sternum straight up. As you exhale, draw the arms away from the back body. Again, inhale, lifting the sternum, lifting the gaze without collapsing the neck. Exhale, draw the arms away. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with an inhale, rise. And exhale, sit back. You can bring the feet out in front of you now. Ground the fingers behind you, fingertips facing towards you. Bend the knees, ground the feet as wide as the hips. And as you inhale, lift the hips. And as you exhale, extend the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Have 3 more deep, long breaths here. And exhale, release. We're gonna do some seated poses that get into the hips a little bit more. Again, if you feel like your pelvis is tilted back, you're not gonna be able to get leverage to lift the spine up. So if that's the case, run and grab a pillow, a blanket, or a block to elevate the hips as we work. We're gonna inhale and draw the knee into the chest, the right knee into the chest. Exhale here. Inhale, lift both arms up. And exhale, twist to the right. Bringing the left elbow to hug in the right knee and the right fingertips to ground behind you. With each inhale, we're pressing down through both sits bones to lift through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. With each exhale, deepening the twist, rolling the shoulders together and down the back to open up through the chest. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And exhale to center, release, switch out the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, twist to the left. Hugging the left elbow, the left knee in with the right elbow. You can ground the fingertips behind you. As you inhale, you press down through the sits bones to lift the spine straight up. And as you exhale, deepen the twist, rolling the shoulders together and down the back. With each breath, you find that lengthened space in the spine before you unwind. And with an inhale, bring it back to center. Good. If your hips are tight, stay seated up on something tall that lets you ground down. We're going to take now the right ankle over the left knee, so you're making like a 4 shape with your body. And you can bend that left foot and ground it. The closer you bring it in towards you, the deeper a hip stretch it's going to be. Inhale, lift the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Roll the shoulders back to open the heart. You can stay here, or if you're not feeling anything, you can begin to fold towards that leg, or just to lean gently because it's really intense. And when we're getting into the hips, it'll sometimes bring up buried emotions, memories, sensations. When this happens, we want to allow it to arise, but then also watch it as it passes through and let it exit and leave the body. So through this practice, we are clearing out the traumas and dramas and demons we've buried in the hips. Right. With your next inhale, lift the spine. And exhale, release that right leg, switch sides. So you can start off down here, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, and then bending that right knee to ground the right foot. If you don't feel a stretch yet, bring the foot in closer to the butt. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Open the heart, and then exhale, begin to move the chest towards the shin if you're not feeling it. Good. Closing the eyes. Climb inside the pose. Breathing into the places where the body is tight and sore and stuck. Inhale, expanding outward. Exhale, softening more deeply into the stretch. Finding ways to release and let go of tension in the physical body, of trauma that we've been clinging to in the mind and the body. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. With an inhale, rise, and exhale, release. With the knees bent, reach past the knees, draw the abdomen into the spine, and slowly roll the spine out, vertebrae by vertebrae, allowing the shoulders and then the head to be the last thing to settle. We're going to do a little core work here. So lifting the heels up towards the ceiling, pulling the abdomen towards the spine without completely collapsing the lower back towards the floor. With your next exhale, begin to slowly lower the legs. You can lift the head and gaze at the abdomen. Come to about 60 degrees. Root the tailbone down. Have 3 deep, long breaths. And then inhale the knees back into the chest. Exhale, rock from side to side. Massage the low back. And then with your next exhale, crossing the right knee over the right, crossing the right knee over the left knee. You might have to ground that left foot and lift the hips up and scoot them back to the right a little bit as you let the legs fall to the left side. Spread the arms wide. You can go cactus arms. And as you inhale, breathe, lengthen space into the side bodies, the spine. And as you exhale, soften more deeply into that twist. If you ever feel low back discomfort or pain when you twist, It's perfectly fine to come out of it and make adjustments. Sometimes it feels better not to cross the knees over each other and to just stack them on top of each other here. Wherever you're at, have 3 more deep long breaths. And then your next inhale brings your legs back to center. And exhale brings them over, crossing the left knee over the right, rounding the right foot and scooting the hips back to the left a little bit. Exhale, drop the knees to the right, spread the arms wide. You can gaze up or gaze over the left shoulder to deepen the twist. And as you inhale, breathe into the back of the heart. And as you exhale, soften it into the support of the ground beneath you. Allowing this process of wringing out the body to sink into all the subtle layers and levels of yourself. Really asking what you can let go of to make more space for new energy, ideas, and opportunities to come through the body and into your life. With an inhale, rise the knees back up. Reach through the knees to grab onto the outer edge of the feet for happy baby. The elbows go on the inside of the shins and reach over to the tops of the feet. The ankles and the knees move towards stacking on top of each other. The tailbone continues to root down as the head and shoulders settle towards the ground. And then you can move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shape. It is the final pose of the practice. When you're ready, you can relax, release, Shavasana, final relaxation, corpse pose, where we allow the aspects of ourselves that are limiting us and holding us back to die, so we can emerge new and restored. If you have any low back discomfort here, you can always place your calves up on a chair or calves on a bolster, or just bend the knees, take the feet a little bit wide and let the knees fall in towards each other so the legs can relax and the low back is supported. Otherwise, the feet rest as wide as the hips and you let them fall out. Palms rest facing up at like a 30-degree angle from the body. And we want to lengthen through the back of the neck. So we don't want our chin jutting up above our forehead, because that sends the body into a fight or flight response. By lengthening through the back of the head and dropping the chin down a little bit, the body is able to actually relax, release, and let go. Return your awareness to your breath and allow it to be deep and long. As you inhale, feel the diaphragm expand down and feel the breath touch into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale, through the mouth with sound, allowing any residual tension, negativity, anxiety to leave the body with the breath through the fingertips. So this is a moon practice, a letting go practice, a clearing out and making space for new things to flow through practice. We're going to spend a few more minutes here in Shavasana. So you can begin to bring the awareness back into your body. Intentionally deepen the inhales. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. With your next inhale, reach the arms up and overhead and give you a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. With an inhale, draw the knees into the chest. And exhale, roll onto the right side body, unless you're pregnant, and then you roll onto the left side. Use your arm as a pillow for a moment. Allow the body to move slowly and transition from the meditative rest of Shavasana back into everyday life. With an inhale, press down with the palms to lift up. And find a comfortable seated position. Keep the eyes closed for a moment and return the awareness to the breath. Notice the quality of the breath now. Notice where in the body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment. And then return the awareness and anchor it on the breath. Bring the hands to the heart and bow the head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that remind us to take time for ourselves, to create a space to connect to the universe, to open up, receive its energy, and to utilize that in our lives. Namaste.